Well, hello and welcome back to math. You will notice that today we're going to take our notes actually on a piece of paper that hopefully the teachers have passed out to you. First thing we're going to need is we're going to need some colors. If you notice, we're going to need a green, a red, and a blue. So if you would make sure you have those three colors, a green, a red, and a blue. And we're going to kind of make some circles here. Let's take our red first. And if you would, go ahead and make 6 circles. You can put them anywhere up here you'd like. And 6. All right. The next thing I would like for us to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to now use, let's do the blue. Let's make 4 blue. All right. And last but not least, our green. We're going to make 7 green. And like I said, it doesn't really matter where you put them. Okay. So once again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red, 1, 2, 3, 4 blue, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green. If you need to pause the video so that you can catch up, please do that. All right, so we're going to review a couple things today. We're going to talk about a ratio. We know that a ratio is 2 numbers, and we'd like to see the ratio of green to red. So we're going to count our green first, which we know is 7, and then our red, which was 6. Now remember, order matters. Green has to come before red. If you would put it like this, it would have been wrong. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at this one. This is considered a part-to-part ratio. So let's go ahead and put here part to part in our little notes here, because part of the group is green and part of the group is red. All right. Our next one says, write the ratio of blue marbles to green marbles. So now we're going to look at our blue, which was 4, and our green, which we found out earlier, is 7. This is also a part of the group to part of the group. All right, next question. Write the ratio of red marbles to the total. All right, so we're going to look at 2 different things. First, it asks for the red, which is 6. And now we want the total marbles, which means we have to count all of them. And I counted 17. All right, so this would be red is part of the group. 17 is the total. So we would say that that is a part to whole ratio. These are the 2 different kinds of ratios, part to part and part to whole. All right, so hopefully this little review is helpful for some of you that have been gone for a while. All right. Let's move down. It says the ratio of rubies to diamonds on a ring is 1 to 2. Find and interpret the value of the ratio. So this is going to be something new for us. So we know that the ratio here is 1 to 2. So let's write that down. The value, I want you to go ahead and write the word value. And I think when you see the value, you're like, well, that's easy. The value is 1/2. I think you obviously can see where the numbers came from. We just turn our ratio into a fraction. And it says find and interpret. So now we're going to kind of write a little sentence. And we're going to write it right over here. We're going to say the number of, and the first thing we had listed in our situation here is rubies first. The number of rubies is, and we're going to use our value, 1/2 times the number of diamonds. All right, so I'll let you get that written down first. All right, so in order to find the value of a ratio, you take the ratio and you turn it into a fraction. That's the value. The value is 1/2. When I write or interpret the situation, I'm going to write the number of, and if you notice, rubies is first, and so it goes with the top number. Rubies is 1/2 times the number of diamonds. So obviously, because the 2 is on the bottom, it goes with the word diamonds. Okay, let's see if we can try another one with value here. Whoops. All right, so on another ring, the number of rubies is 4 times the number of diamonds. Okay, so first of all, this one's a little bit more tricky. I'm going to write the word ratio here. What's the ratio? On another ring, the number of rubies is 4 times the number of diamonds. How many diamonds? Well, it looks like here, because the number of rubies is 4 times the number of diamonds, there has to be 4 rubies per diamond. So the ratio would be like this. 4 to 1. 4 times the number of diamonds. So 4 rubies per diamond, which means the value would be, let's write this as a fraction. Well, we can simplify that fraction, can't we? We can simplify that fraction to the answer, plain old 4. 4 over 1 is 4. So now if I'm going to write the situation, I'm going to write the same kind of sentence. The number of rubies is, what's our value? 4 times the number of diamonds. All right, hopefully you're ready to move on. We're going to do a few more problems here with value, since that's our new concept for today. An elephant sanctuary contains adult and baby elephants. The ratio of adult elephants to baby elephants is 5 to 1. Find and interpret the value of the ratio. So let's go ahead and write here. The ratio is, there it is, right, 5 to 1. So that means the value, if I turn it into a fraction, is 5 over 1. This is very similar to what we just did up here. Well, 5 over 1 we know can reduce to 5. All right, so how would we write our sentence? Well, we're going to always start it with the number of, what are we going to put first? Well, let's look back in our story. The ratio of adult elephants to baby elephants. So we're going to put adult elephants first. So the number of adult elephants is how many times? 5 times the number of, and our second thing was baby elephants. Oops, squeeze that in there. All right, so go ahead and write that one down for us. And then the last value one, we're going to do one more. It says the ratio of rock songs to pop songs in your music collection is 1 to 7. Find and interpret the value of the ratio. Well, the ratio is very obvious. Put it here for us, which is 1 to 7. We've learned today that the value of a ratio is taking the ratio and turning it into a fraction and simplifying it if needed, but it doesn't look like we need to. And now let's go ahead and interpret this. So let's see, the number of, all right, what's our first thing that goes with 1? The ratio of rock songs to pop songs. So rock songs comes first. The number of rock songs is, and what's our value? 1/7. 1/7 times the number. And the last thing we talked about was pop songs. The number of rock songs is 1/7 times the number of pop songs. All right, so if you need to pause this video, you sure can. But today, the new thing that we've learned has been the word value, okay? So I want you to remember what value means. The value is taking your ratio and putting it into a fraction. When you write a sentence describing the situation, you need to make sure that you list the items in order correctly. For example, if rubies matches with the 1, then rubies should be listed first because it's the top on the fraction. And the number that's on the bottom of the fraction, the 2, matched with diamonds, so it's at the end of my story. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and turn over to your other side. Should look something like this. We're going to do a little review here of equivalent ratios. Okay, equivalent ratios. There's a couple ways to do this. We can either do a Wonder Woman type thing, which would be something like this. First number to first number. How do I go from 4 to 20? 4 times 5. All right, so second number to second number. Is 3 times 5 15? It is, because these two numbers are the same. This is called an equivalent ratio. All right, let's try this one. First number to first number. Oh, 5 doesn't go into 10. Oh, times 2. Yeah, but look at this, though. 7 times 3. These numbers are not the same, so this would be considered not equivalent. Now, if you're listening, I kind of said there's a couple ways that you could have solved these. So, for example, you have here 5 to 7. And you have your 10 to 21. You could see if you could have simplified this. 5 and 7, they don't have a common factor, so you cannot simplify either one of these. And so these are as low as they go, and these two do not look like each other. Okay, let's look at these two over here. We have 4 and 3, and 20 and 15. 4 and 3, that's probably as low as it goes. Now remember, we're talking about when you take your common factor sheet like this and you look to see. 4 and 3, that's as small as it goes. If I would do 20 and 15, however, 5 goes into them both. 4 and 3. And look at this. These two look exactly the same. So these would be equivalent ratios. So there's a couple ways to solve these. Okay. All right, one more review thing here, and that is on tape diagrams. Let's see what you remember of tape diagrams. It says here the ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance is 5 to 3. The monthly allowance total is $40. How much is each allowance? All right, Bennett, do you remember how to solve these? Sam, do you? I bet you do. So what we're going to do is we have to make a tape diagram representing your monthly allowance and your friends. So let's label this as you, and let's label this as friend. All right. Let's see you. The ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance is 5 to 3. 5. So I get 5 boxes. So let's make 5 boxes for us. Five. And my friends looks like is 3. I bet this is starting to come back to you now. Gabe, how you doing? Are you understanding this? All right, let's go ahead here. So I have the 5 to 3. Now let's look at the other information. It says the monthly allowance total. So that means the total for all of this. For all of this is 40. So that means I have to take 40 and I have to put it in all of these boxes. Well, how many boxes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to take 40 and I'm going to divide it by 8. 40 divided by 8 is 5. That means I get to put 5 in each one of these boxes. All right, Matthew, what's the total here? Well, the total for your friend is 5, or for you is 5, 10, 15, 20. Looks like you have 25. So your monthly allowance is $25. How much is your friend's? Looks like your friend's is $15. All right, so we made a tape diagram, which is kind of a visual to help us solve these problems. Last tape diagram problem, and then I'll let you work on your homework. It says in a 7-game basketball series, a team's power forward scores 8 points for every 5 points the center scores. The forward scores 60 more points than the center of the series. How many points does each player score in the series? All right, this one looks a little bit more challenging. Let's go back and reread here. A team's power forward, the forward scores 8 points for every 5 points the center scores. So it looks like the two things we're going to compare are the forward and the center in the basketball game. So let's write forward, center. The forward scores 8 points. So we're going to make 8 boxes here for our forward. And our center, we're going to make 5. All right, so I tried to make them about the same size here. All right, so now let's go back and reread and see what we can do. All right, a team's forward, our team's power forward scores 8 points. We have that. For every 5 points, the center scores. We have that. The forward, okay, that's this person here, scores 60 more points. Well, if I look at this correctly, I would agree that this is the more part, right? So if I make my tapes even, which I tried to do, these are even. They both show 5 right here. But obviously the forward made more. That more, it says, is 60 more. So this group right here that we're going to circle has to be 60. That means I have to take that 60 and put it into those 3 boxes. 60 divided by 3. Izzy, I bet you know what 60 divided by 3 is. 60 divided by 3 is 20. That means you have to put 20 in every single box. All right, so how many points does each player score in the series? Well, the forward scores, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60. So it looks like the forward scores 160 points. And the center scores 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And the center scores 100 points. All right, so hopefully this was a good little review for some of you that have missed, or just for those of you that needed a refresher. Your assignment is, let me show it and put it up here for you. All right, so here is our assignment. It's, I guess I should say pages, shouldn't I? Pages 151 and 152. You're starting with problem number 1 through 21, and you're doing the odd problems this time. Odd. So I went ahead and folded my piece of paper and kind of set some things up here for you. If you notice, I broke up 3A and 3B because 3A wants a couple of things. They want the value, which we did in our notes, and then they want you to write that sentence. I didn't finish the sentence. You'll need to. 3B only wants the ratio. Okay. So you can always put this video back up. You can pause your video real quick if you'd like to so that you can get your piece of paper and get this written down. The rest of the problems I think you're going to understand fairly. I think they should be pretty simple for most of you. Number 13, I went ahead and drew the picture on my paper to help me solve this because it told me that we have customers and guides. So I put a C and G, and it said that there are 6 guides on the trip. So I put that box has to equal 6. Okay, so you have to figure out how many customers. That shouldn't be too challenging. And then on the other few problems, I put the problems back here. I did set up number 15 for you. 17, 19, and 21 are going to be similar, so we're going to make some tapes. The story talked about you having a container of peppermint gum and spearmint gum. I'm given, oh, I did this one incorrectly. It's a good thing that we looked. All right, do a little quick change here. Sorry, I got my white out. It says we have peppermints and spearmints in our container, and it says that there are 18 peppermints. I looked at that wrong. I thought it was 18 total. So that means you're going to take the 18 and separate it into these 2 boxes. These 2 right here, 18 divided into 2 boxes, I think is 9. And so then you can find out how many spearmints you have. Now, when you get to problem number 17, 15, and, or I'm sorry, gosh, 18, well, 19 and 21, you're going to have, instead of it being one tape diagram, it's going to actually be the total. So for example, 19, you're going to have a total of 165 tickets. And so you'll make your 2 tapes. Okay, hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. If I did, reach out to me and I can help you figure it out. Otherwise, you can ask the teachers in the classroom. All right, have a great day, and I miss you guys.